Paranorm podcast contains content that might not be suitable for some listeners. Listener discretion is advised. This is Paranorm Podcast. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Paranorm, the podcast where we talk all things true crime and paranormal. I'm Emily.
And I'm Sierra.
And this week we are talking about a spooky hospital in Alabama. But before we do, how the fuck are you?
Doing good.
Good?
Yeah.
Okay, good. We've had an interesting time this evening setting everything up. So we made some cake, and I say we with a very, very strong scent of sarcasm because there was no Emily involved in that one. I don't bake.
Well, you were the inspiration.
Oh, yeah.
And I feel like, I can do follow through, and I can do like details and stuff, but I'm not always the great at being like the dreamer, the visionary.
Yeah.
So I need you to be the visionary to my planner.
Well, yeah, and the visionary, by that you mean me looking at you and saying, we should make a cake, and then Sierra go and make the cake by herself. So,
I mean, you were moral support.
I was total moral support, and then I got distracted because I'm actually a 2-year-old with the attention span of a squirrel, so.
Yeah. A 2-year-old, 92-year-old.
Basically, that's how I function.
Mm-hmm.
That's the wavelength I fly at. So, yeah, we've had a pretty good week. We're recording on a Thursday. And by a pretty good week, I mean a fucking dumpster fire of a Monday and Tuesday.
I mean, that's par for the course, though.
Pretty much. I started off the week with a flat tire. That was great. And then Tuesday, I started off with a hacking on my Amazon account. And someone tried to buy a $1,000 hot tub. So rude, honestly.
Yeah, because they were definitely not going to invite us.
No, 110% not. But yeah, that was pretty great. That was a pretty interesting ride for me. Thankfully, I do not have to get a new debit card. They hacked my actual bank account, so hip hip hooray! Yeah, no, because I really like my debit card, mostly because it has the number 666 involved in it somewhere. It just kind of vibes with me, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah. Today was pretty okay. A little stressful. I'm 5 glasses of wine in, so I pre-gamed pretty hard for you guys. You're very welcome. But yeah, I think we're doing good so far.
Yeah.
It might just be the wine high. You know, for me. Because obviously Sierra does not drink, so she's just fully riding on whatever vibe I'm putting out right now.
I am pretty much, I wouldn't rule out yawning in this episode, and
500 technical difficulties later, we are back. Yeah, for some reason, every single time we record, whichever microphone I have, because we've traded microphones now at this point, whichever one I have, it seems to give me trouble. So, yeah, that's where we're at, guys. It's super fantastic. I love it. 10 out of 10 would recommend. Yeah, so are you ready to listen to this week's case?
I am.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'm ready for this week's case.
All right, so this week, as I said, we are talking about a spooky hospital in Alabama. That hospital would be the Jemison Center, often referred to as Old Bryce. Now, my wonderful, wonderful sources for this week are the AbandonedSoutheast.com, Wikipedia, obviously, AL.com, HauntingDarkness.com, and there were a few others, but I will put those on the blog as usual because I would be rambling on forever if I put all of them. So, I know I say so a lot, but I just can't think of another filler word, you know?
Like, yeah.
Yeah. For the history, we're going to start there because let me tell you, there is some fucking history. The Jemison family started settled, you know, in Tuscaloosa, Alabama in the 1830s, which seems like a really hella long time ago. Speaking of a hella long time ago, I found out today that Dunkin' Donuts was founded in 1955, which is also a hella long time ago. Older than you and I put together. Yeah.
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 So, anyway, 1830s. Let's get in that mindset. You show some
Ooh.
ankles, you're scandalous. And they became one of the wealthiest and most influential families in the state. Robert Jemison Jr. was a Confederate senator, businessman, and entrepreneur. His business empire grew to encompass toll roads, which do not even get me or my dad started on some fucking toll roads because they are some shit. A grist mill, a sawmill, a livery stables, a hotel, 6 plantations, so yeah, totaling in all 10,000 acres.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's like the whole state of Alabama.
Yeah. Jemison was one of the leaders who built and supported the Alabama State Hospital for the insane, not my words. Later renamed Bryce Hospital, which opened in 1861 in Tuscaloosa. So after his death in 1871, which is honestly not that far down the road, Jemison's largest plantation, known as Cherokee Place, was bequeathed, which just sounds like such a fancy word, to the State of Alabama Board of Mental Health. During the segregation era, a separate facility was established for African American patients. The building known as the Jemison Center was constructed a short drive from the main campus in Northport on what was once Cherokee Place and named Jemison, named after Jemison for niceness, I guess. Before the Jemison Center was built, African American patients were housed in the lofts of the barn.
Wow.
Yeah. At Bryce Hospital, the approach to treatment at Bryce followed the concept that a patient's work was more important than that of mental health care.
Okay.
Yeah. Just super. Which, granted, it was the South during the 1800s, so, we shouldn't expect much, but, come on now.
Doesn't make it right.
Oh, no. 110% does not make it okay. In fact, it makes it real fucked up. Patients housed at the Jemison Center would tend to their fields around the property. This was part of a self-sustainability of Bryce, as well as a way to feed a large number of patients with limited state funding. So it was kind of like, what's the word I'm looking for? Introduced as this, utopia.
Oh, okay,
You know?
Yeah.
With, farming's on site, we make our own food, all that sort of stuff. But in reality, it was, hella fucked up. So, however, obviously, here we go. This is where we start. However, by the 1960s, the concept of patients remaining in the hospital for long periods of time while at the same time working productively became a subject of public concern. Many citizens felt that the hospital retained patients as a source of free labor. Obviously, in 1970, the Jemison, I'll get it one time. Here we go. In 1970, probably. Can we get it? This time, maybe. The Jemison Center made headlines after a journalist from the Tuscaloosa News visited the facility and reported the abhorrent. I can, even when I read that word,
It just looks wrong.
it just looks wrong.
Yeah.
The terrible conditions. Quote, human feces were caked on the toilets and walls, urine-soaked aging floors, many beds lacked linens, patients were sleeping on the floor. One small shower served 131 male patients, and the female patients only had one shower. 75 female patients to one shower.
Yeah, we can barely do 2 people to one shower, let alone.
Yes, the next house that we are thinking about buying has to have 2 bathrooms. 110%, that is my caveat. Cannot have 1 bathroom. I can't function. Most of the patients at Jemison were highly tranquilized and appeared not to have bathed in days. All appeared to lack any semblance of treatment. The stench was almost unbearable, end quote. Conditions at the Jemison Center and the Bryce Hospital in Tuscaloosa led to a landmark lawsuit. which was Wyatt versus Stickney. At the time, Bryce Hospital had over 5,000 patients living
Holy
in
crap.
intolerable conditions that the Montgomery Advisor compared to a concentration camp. Wyatt and his aunt testified about the improper treatment and design to only make more patients more manageable. So, like, that was their only concern. When this hospital was built, it was only supposed to house no more than 1,100 patients.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and now they are hosting 5,000.
5 times the number of people that are supposed to be there.
Yeah, exactly. So in 1971, the lawsuit was expanded to include patients at Alabama's other inpatient mental hospitals, mental health facilities. The resulting court-ordered agreements formed the basis for federal minimum standards for care of people with mental illness who reside in institutional settings known as the Wyatt Standards, which goes on to make a huge difference in mental health facilities and mental health care. It is a step in the right direction, but obviously there still needs to be more added to it in the coming decades, and there was more added to it. But for the time, it was a really big deal.
Yeah. Because at least it started the conversation.
Yes.
Whereas before there was nothing.
Yes. So the standards that were founded, in the Wyatt standards, were based on 4 levels of care, which was the human psychological, environmental, physical environmental, and qualified sufficient staff / administration for treatment, which really focused on individualized treatment plans and minimum restriction of patient freedom. Because before they were being kind of confined to their bedrooms, with patients being handcuffed to beds. Super great. And then, like I said about the shower situation, it really, really was not.
Right, and if they're forced to work, so many hours a day.
Yes, exactly.
So they're not necessarily doing treatment plans if they're mostly working and all
yes, that. And up until this time, especially up until this time, it was people of color, so they weren't seen as what's the word I'm looking for?
People?
Yeah, exactly. And it's Alabama again, so the rate at which these people are being treated and mercilessly just put down is just.
Yeah, they were still being taken advantage of.
Yes.
They were no longer quote unquote slaves, but they were still slaves in another sense.
Yeah. So, after 33 years, the case of Wyatt versus Stickney came to a conclusion.
Wow.
33 years. Through a tenure of 9 Alabama governors and 14 state mental health commissioners, the case was the longest mental health case in national history. The state of Alabama estimates its litigation expenses of over $15 million.
Wow.
Yes. So it was the most expensive mental health case in the state of Alabama ever. Probably within the country, if I'm not mistaken.
At least for that time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So now we're going to get into the hauntings. Yes, the fun stuff. The first, I'm going to recount a story of one of our homegirls by the name of April Moody.
Okay.
So I'm going to start off with what she says.
Okay.
We would turn off the lights from time to time to see if anything would happen. One time we did this and my friend heard a noise. At the same time, I saw movement in the lighting. We walked towards where I saw the movement and he heard a sound. For some reason, the dirty floor was nice and cleaned off in that area. We saw a fresh footprint in the floor. We turned off the light again and we both thought we heard a small child running towards us. We turned on the light and didn't see anything. I'm not really sure if any of the things were really paranormal activity, but the setting can really play with your mind. It's a lot of fun. So let me state, it is not far from a college town. So a lot of people like to kind of go check this out. for funsies.
Is it abandoned now?
Yes.
Okay.
It was closed like around the 1970s, some sort of time around there. But it kind of, they went on to open a new hospital that was like kind of on the same property, because it was a very large property, called the New Bryce. I think that went on to close in 2014, around there. The New Bryce. It was really confusing because they're both named the Bryce Hospital, so
Right, yeah.
or like nicknamed that. But anyway, so it is, the Old Bryce is definitely abandoned. And a lot of college students, a lot of people with nothing really better to do, because it is Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Not a lot going on. Which, that's not just me saying that. My mother is from there, so
okay.
I know there's not Tuscaloosa, but Alabama. There's not a lot going on in that area. You know? So, like, Ohio. As you so shamelessly put it earlier.
At least that one span of road where I have to drive from my parents' house to here, there's definitely not much going on there.
So us going to Wadesboro.
Yeah.
Nothing.
It's what definitely worse than that.
Oh my god, no, I couldn't function. So yeah, anyway, people like to just, get up in there.
Yeah.
See what's going on. See what's happening. So, April Moody did it. She felt some weird vibes. Saw some fresh footprints. I don't fuck with that shit. Which I'm really, really excited that we have not had anything happen in the last week with our ghost. You know?
Yeah.
Have you had anything?
No, I haven't had anything.
Besides the reoccurring dream, you're yawning now. Really? That's what
I
we're doing?
told you it was gonna happen.
So rude. Besides the reoccurring dreams that I've had, and I've also been waking up at 4 o'clock every morning lately. So there's
I'm glad
that.
that's just you.
I mean, you get sent memes at that time, so there's that. Sierra and I noticed today that I have started saying things that she says, and she has started saying things that I've said. I don't know what you said that. Oh, the Facebook.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the putting the in front of things, like the Facebook, the Walmart, such and such. And Sierra, when she's done saying something, she goes, actually. So I have noticed I've said that more recently, more so.
Yeah.
Than I would, actually. But yeah, so it's just little things like that that make me laugh really hard.
Don't worry, you're not changing into the same person.
No. That wouldn't happen.
No.
I feel like I'm just too decisive, and you are too much of a critical thinker to let that happen. You know?
Yeah. There's some things that are ingrained and some things that are just habit.
Yes.
So we can slowly change habits, but I don't think
so. Not to that extent.
Yeah. You know how like 'cause like owners and their dogs look the same, or like they look,
or they have the kind of the same moods.
Yeah, things like that. But
and I own a fucking pit bull, for Christ's sakes. So
yeah, so I just don't want you to be afraid that we're gonna become the same person.
We're definitely not the same person.
No,
we might accidentally dress the same 3 times out of the week, but oh man, that's just because we have really good taste.
Which is really funny because I don't actually see her in the morning.
Yes.
So I only see her when I come home from work and she comes home from work.
And half the time I don't want to let her in the house.
And so it's like after the whole day, the whole day you've been dressed the same as the other person.
It's absolutely ridiculous. But it's just, it is who we are right now, I guess.
Yeah.
What's going to be hilarious is if we have, like, a third person with us. Like Emily.
Mm-hmm.
And if all of a sudden she starts dressing the same, it's going to be real super weird.
Yeah.
We're thinking about that. That's going to be interesting. Okay. Anyway. Now on to another story, which I found was that of a grad student who went with their roommate to check out the building, but only stayed long enough to check it out from a nice distance and take pictures. It wasn't until later when they were on their way home, or already home, looking on their computer, they noticed that something odd was in the second floor window. I will put the picture on the blog so you guys can see. They put like a little red circle around it, and they called the roommate in and asked him to look at the photo, and quote, he goes, "Jesus, there's a girl in the window." And that was his unsolicited response. And there is 110% a motherfucking girl in this window. It's really unsettling. Wow. Yeah. Like there's zoomed in pictures where they zoomed in themselves, but like if you zoom into the original picture that they posted, you can definitely see a girl. Now, granted, it might be edited, but like we like to go, it's a girl.
Yeah.
Okay? It's a girl.
Yeah.
Shadows, lights, bullshit. It's a girl. So, now for another report. A group of investigators were out when one of the newbies, because it's always a newbie, wandered off and suddenly felt a chill. Then turned, oh my god, Sierra. It literally felt like somebody just brushed up against the back of my leg. I'm not fucking with you right now. Sierra, I'm not kidding. Oh my, guys, Sierra, I'm really not fucking with you right now. Oh my god, I do not appreciate that. It literally, like, here's my leg. It felt like somebody took their hand and just brushed their hand against the back of my leg.
Oh my gosh.
I'm not fucking. What? No.
It's over there. It's not over here.
Okay, I'm like hyperventilating. Like, I'm already, like, I'm hot.
I'm sweating. I don't know.
Okay. Anyway, so the newbie wandered off and suddenly felt a chill, then turned around to see the last glimpse of what appeared to be Dr. Coattails.
Oh, like on their, okay. Yeah, on their, okay, gotcha.
Yes, on their lab coat.
Yeah.
Thing. That's what that's called, right? A lab coat?
Yes.
Okay, cool. That same... I just kind of woke up my Google on my phone, so that's great. That same team was said to have gotten EVPs of screams and a little boy saying help over and over and over until his tone got hoarse.
Oh, that's fantastic.
It's super comforting, right?
Yeah.
I will post a link to the EVPs in our blog as well, because I listened to, I know, no short of like 20 of them.
Wow.
Yeah. So, definitely Team No Sleep
There's
tonight.
definitely quite a few.
Yeah.
There.
Oh yeah, there's quite a few. Some of them you can't really decipher what they're saying, and you know how they put like little like CCs down at the bottom?
Yeah.
Like, sure, you can hear that, but then there's other ones where the little boy's saying help. You can definitely hear him saying help.
Without, like, reading that.
Without, like, reading the closed caption.
The suggestion.
Yeah. So, this place is has such a sinister feeling. It's even been set on fire.
Whoa.
Yeah. And it has a very strong sulfur smell in certain parts of the building, like the east wing. And sulfur, I don't know if we've talked about this, has a really strong like attachment to demons, like a rotten egg kind of smell. It's been reported that lights flicker on and off, and the building has no motherfucking electricity.
Nice.
Yeah, just
Casual.
super. Yes. So, phones ring in rooms with no phones, and EVPs have been, like, captured where it even sounds like people are speaking on the phone after the phone stops ringing. So, they, like, pick up.
Yeah.
Even though there's no fucking phone in there. Now, they hear, like, the phantom ringing, and then it stops. And you don't hear anything, like, you and I wouldn't hear anything, but the EVPs pick up something. So, along those same lines, phantom lights sort of drift from room to room, and I just said that there's no electricity in the building. As if it's following someone. I was kind of thinking about this, and it's kind of like it's following like a doctor doing rounds, you know?
Oh, okay, yeah.
Because you know how at the end of the night or like multiple
Mhm.
times a day the doctor does rounds to check in on the patients?
Mhm.
That's what I was kind of thinking.
Mm.
Like the phantom lights going to room.
Yeah.
Makes sense?
Yeah.
I feel like that would be a total thing.
Right.
Because the way I see it, like ghosts are like an energy that's been present in that specific spot that was so strong, it just kind of keeps repeating. Unless
Mhm.
there's like a poltergeist or something, and then it's like evil.
Yeah.
But most of the time, ghosts are like they follow the pattern that they were like when they were alive.
Mhm.
So like that's like in houses that have been remodeled, why they go through walls because
Like
those walls weren't there.
Yeah, okay.
So furniture even moves on its own, and you're gonna yawn in the middle of my sentence. The rudeness.
No better time than that. I'm not trying. Like, it just happens and I can't stop it.
No, I know. It's fine. Totally get it. So furniture moves on its own, and footsteps.
Footsteps. Footsteps.
Let's see if I can get this right. Footsteps. There we go. I got it that time, guys. Echo through the abandoned hallways, and when a team of different investigators investigated one room, they were in one room, and they heard a whole bunch of clanging a couple rooms down. They went to see what it could be, and they couldn't see anything that like obviously had moved. They like started moving stuff around to see if it could have been, you know, this or that or whatever. And when two investigators pushed a bed like really hard against a against the floor, they came to the conclusion that that was the sound that they heard. So not only was it a really hard movement, but it took two of them to push that bed across the floor. And when they came in, nothing had appeared it moved.
Right, so how did it move?
Move from and to.
Yeah.
Like within the span of 2 minutes, which like took them from point A to point B to get there, you know?
Yeah, hear it and they're like, wait, what's that? And then like we should go see what it is, and then go there, and then it's like,
yeah,
what the heck?
That's super unsettling. I do not like that. So a couple other things that seem to happen is just people outside the building will see, like that one chick saw the girl in the window. Apparently she's really common. She shows up in a lot of people's pictures. Another one will see a person on the roof, which appears to be like she's jumping. She's going to jump.
Yeah.
But then when they go to turn and talk to somebody, say, "Hey, did you see that girl?" They'll look back and she's gone.
Yeah.
They'll see doctors walking in and out of the front door. But the biggest motion that seems to happen is blinds or curtains being drawn when there aren't any blinds or curtains to be drawn.
So how can they tell?
It looks as though curtains are being drawn, and then when they look back, there's nothing there.
So like
it's just an empty window.
Okay.
Now, let me just say this now that we are closing. Trespassing is fucking forbidden here. Okay? Let me just say that for legal reasons. We are not encouraging you guys to go there. But it is so fucking strange to see, like, all of the reports of all of the strange happenings happening here. So if you have gone here, or if you do go there, even though we are wink wink nudge nudge advising you do not do that, hit us up, because I would like to know, because this place seems really fucking creepy.
Yeah, sounds like it.
Yeah, seriously.
Trying to decide like what I would be most unsettled by. Like if I went to like a haunted building.
Do you know it's haunted? Or
well, if I go someplace and I don't know it's haunted.
Yeah.
Probably noises that like shouldn't be. happening.
See, my thing is touching, like the thing with my leg just now.
Yeah.
That really freaks me out. Noises, not so much, because I can kind of deal with the noises.
Yeah.
But I feel like touching, which I don't like touching to begin with.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I guess so. Maybe, I don't know. Which one would freak me out more?
Yeah. I honestly could not tell you. They're both kind of unsettling to me, you know?
Yeah. I feel like, light-related things, like, are probably underneath those two.
Yeah. What about, like temperature adjustments?
No, I don't think that would freak me out.
Yeah.
Like, I may not even really notice, depending on how much it is.
Yeah. With the same with, like, the kind of smell, the changing of the smell, like the very strong sulfur smell.
I mean, I would notice that more,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't know how much it would, like, freak me out.
Affect you.
Yeah, like, I guess it would be, if I did know it was haunted, obviously I would have, like, more, like, be more attuned to that.
Yes.
But, like, I don't think it would make me afraid as much as the noises or thinking, like, somebody's watching you or touch your shoulder and you're like, what?
Well, you know how, like, strong I am into, like, my vibes.
Yeah.
So, like, I feel like if I got a vibe while I was in there, whatever kind of haunted place, I would be like, we need to get the pazuk out of here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so I just couldn't. I couldn't deal with that.
Yeah. I think, like, the noises, like, especially if it was, like, generally quiet, like, I think that would get to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like I'd be okay with that as long as nothing fucking touches me. That's where I draw the line.
So I don't have the new Bryce building also, like, haunted?
It appears to be also closed, but I don't think that's because of, like anything spooky happening.
Okay.
I think it might be, like, pandemic related, but I couldn't find anything more updated than 2017.
Oh, okay.
You know?
Yeah.
Okay. So, but I'm pretty sure it's closed as well. But, yeah, that's what I have for you. I don't have any strange what-if questions for you right now that I can think of. For some reason, when I'm tipsy, I feel the need to ask Sierra strange what-if questions. Like, what if we had noodles for arms?
And then,
she's already answered this.
Like,
and she gets really into the question. Like, she gets really, like, critical thinking. I'm going to pause what I'm doing to think about this. And, like, and it's so weird because she most of the time knows whatever I'm talking about. Like, if I tell her, like, you know that church down the street by the gas station? Like, the church across the street from the gas station? And if we turn left, we can go to Target?
Yeah.
Okay. So I was talking to my dad earlier, and I was like, yeah, well, we were talking about my grandparents who have passed on and where their house is located. And I was like, I don't know the address. Do you know the address? And he goes, no. I was like, but I know how to get there. And he goes, okay, well, tell me how you get there. And so I was like, you know, the big church, if you go where the big church is and you turn left at the CVS and then you go straight to where the stoplight is and then you turn right there and then you go down that road. And he knew exactly where I was talking about. Told me what road it was. And I was like, okay, you need to get out of my motherfucking head because this is kind of terrifying. It's just so strange how you guys can, like, pick up on, like, certain parts of the conversation that I'm telling you, and you know exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Because I don't fill in the blanks, you guys do.
I just remember when you were trying to describe pergola, and I totally guessed it.
Yes, that was perfect. Pergola is probably one of my favorite words on the planet, and I want a pergola so bad. And I think I just made, like, a hand motion.
Yeah, I don't know. It was, like, with the thing.
With the thing on top. And Sierra goes, a pergola? I was like, yes, a pergola. So it's quite hilarious. It's their special talent that the both of them share. But yeah, so it's just hilarious to me because my brain is so, like, overactive, and yours is just, like, steady going. I got this, and then mine's like, what if we did this? No, what if we did this? Oh, let's make a right turn. There's somebody knocking at the door, and you're just like, well, let's start with the first thing. So yeah, it's quite hilarious how completely we fit in.
Yeah.
You
I'd be
know?
interested to hear, like, how you guys' brain works. Are you more like Emily? Are you more like me?
Yeah.
And, like, do you have a best friend that's opposite of you?
Seriously, because Sierra and I are complete opposites in the way our brain works. That's what I was going to say earlier when when I was sitting in the kitchen and Sierra was trying to think of what cake to make. I was saying random words and I was like, "What's the first word that pops to your head when I say casual Thursday?" And Sierra was like, "What?" I was like, "'Cause the first one that pops into my head is potato," and she goes, "Well, now I'm thinking about potatoes." And my dad goes, "Clothes." But I was like, "You don't have any random words kind of floating around in there?" And she goes, "No, it's all empty up here." And mine's like the fucking interstate. So, yeah, no, it's just, is it type A or type B? Like, what's floating around in y'all's heads?
Yeah.
Seriously, it's wild how
It is.
differently, like your brain works.
Yeah, and I never really thought about it because I'd never had anybody like you explain it to me or like even like talk about it.
Yeah.
So I never really knew that there was somebody out there who had a brain that, like yours, or and you know, somebody's brain does not like similar to mine.
Yeah.
So I never really thought about it, and or you know, so I mean, it makes total sense, but
yeah,
I never really thought about it before. So it's very interesting.
It's very. Sometimes I envy how your brain works because I just want the quiet.
Yeah.
You know, because of the anxiety of mine is just, it's constant noise.
Yeah.
It's like music is playing in my head all the time and I can't find out which fucking tab is open with the music. But yeah, so it's definitely really interesting to have like a different point of view. You know? But yeah, I would definitely like to hear like what kind of brain y'all have. Is it more like Sierra's? Is it more like mine? Or is it something completely different?
Yeah, because it could be totally.
Yeah, it's just wild to me. So
it's one of those things that we know a lot about, but know nothing at all.
Oh, 110%. Like the ocean.
Yeah. Prime example for anybody who was taking notes.
So I have 2 jokes for you.
Okay.
And then you can plug all of the things.
Okay.
Are you prepared?
Probably not.
Probably not. Okay. So, why couldn't the bicycle stand up by itself?
Because it only had one leg.
No, it was too tired. Okay. Why do melons have weddings?
So they come in pairs?
Nope, because they can't elope. I fucking love it. Okay, Sierra, it's time for me to stop talking. It has come.
Can I tell my joke?
Please, for the love of God, do.
Why didn't the green pepper practice his archery?
Why?
Because it wasn't habanero.
I fucking love that one. Okay.
Anyways.
Oh my god, that was hilarious. Okay, it really is time for me to stop talking. It is your turn.
All right, guys. All the things.
Let's hear them.
Let's hear them. Obviously, you've heard about the blog. It has all the pictures, all the sources, and other sources, like personal sources, like
resources,
not sources, resources. Right now we have the Am I Registered to Vote? And
guys, let me go on the tangent. Sierra, are you prepared? Strap into this bitch.
Okay.
Okay. Guys, it is so fucking important for you guys to vote. It is so fucking important for you guys to vote. North Carolina, the last day to vote or register to vote was October 9th. Some states allow voter registration like on the day of the election. Some states don't. Please make sure you're registered to vote. This is so important. People's lives are at stake. People's freedoms are at stake. Please vote. It is so important. I know people are like, well, our vote doesn't count. It doesn't count. There's electoral college. Motherfuckers, it matters. It matters from the fucking board of elections that's in your county, because I know we're getting into new board elections in our county. it matters up into the president. Okay? We need to get out there. We need to make our voices heard. Do what you can. Please fucking vote. Make sure you're registered to vote. Make sure your family members are registered to vote. Make sure that dude you sometimes talk to is registered to vote. That you up text, turn it into, are you registered to vote text. Okay? We don't fuck with people who are not registered to vote. All right, I'll step down off my soapbox again. Madame.
Anyway, so other than voting, we do have other personal resources available, so please check them out. And you can send us a message on our contact page through the blog. So you wanna tell us about
Not through the blog, through the website. They're kind of like two little different things.
Okay, but if you go to the blog, on the top menu bar thing, there's a contact us, and so you can click on that. And or if you want to send us an email, you can do that, paranormpodcast@gmail.com. And then obviously we are definitely on social media because that's where all the cool kids are, apparently. Except for Miss Spurlock, who's also a cool kid but doesn't have social media. But that's okay.
Sure.
And but anyway, so on Facebook and Instagram.
I wish I wasn't on Facebook, to be honest with you. Instagram's cool. I vibe with Instagram. Facebook's just so much.
To be continued at a later date. Paranormal Podcast on Facebook and Instagram. And then we do have a Patreon account where we are sitting at a solid 0 patrons.
Y'all need to show us some support. We love you. Like, honestly, we love you. But, like, do it. I dare you. Also, register to vote.
That's the most important. If you do nothing in this season, at least just make sure you're registered to vote.
Please, because people are getting picked off the rolls at unfathomable numbers, especially people of color. So, I feel like that's everything. I can't think of anything else. Except for this one little tiny fact. Are you ready?
Yes.
Please make sure you're registered to vote. It's really important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's literally the only way you get to decide, like, how your country is run.
Yeah.
And it is your country. Like, it's not the president's country or anybody else's country. It's the people's country.
Because let's be honest, the dude that pays $750 in taxes within 2 years, it's not really his country when both of us combined are paying 2 times that amount. So.
Yeah. Everybody pays more than that. Even if you only work at McDonald's, you pay more than that.
I'm a fucking dog sitter and I pay more than that.
So, this is your chance to vote. I mean, it's, like I said, it's your country. So if you don't go out and vote, you can't really say how you want your country to be run.
Please don't listen to this podcast anymore if you don't vote. I don't vibe with you.
But anyway, it doesn't matter what your political views are. You should still vote because it is your civic duty to do so.
Yeah, like jury duty, which honestly I feel like I should do one day. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
Anyway,
I guess we'll leave you with this one little more factoid. Make sure you registered to vote and vote on November 3rd or vote early. Do that great thing. Yeah. So I hope you guys have a great week. I hope you're registered to vote. And I think that's as many times as I can say, make sure you're registered to vote in one episode. Goodbye, everyone.
bye.